Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Ken Boucher, Mike Haspil, and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Greetings and felicitations.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
I thought Haspil was frozen for a minute. It's like we're gonna have to replace him with a picture too, Kenny.
His processor was compiling.
Yeah, essentially.
It's all good. I have an entire folder on my computer dedicated to pictures of Mike Haspil, so wouldn't have been a problem.
You have to switch out the gerbils. So we're back. It's been what's 3 weeks in COVID time? Is that like a year?
We decided on 6 months.
Half a year?
Yeah.
6 months? Mm-hmm. That's about right.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
absolutely. That sounds right.
It's been officially 2021 for 1 week.
What a week it's been.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's been a time.
We've had one GW preview.
One GW preview already?
Yeah, on the first.
Damn. I didn't even catch that.
I know.
Didn't even catch that.
It was a
man.
half-see. That and the Christmas one was basically like one whole preview, minus the talking.
Man, it's like 3 weeks, bro. Like, I remember, like, we shut it down, like, the 17th or something. Right? Then we ran through the new year. Then we took the first part of the, because it was like New Year's Eve would be the next podcast, some shit. And then we're here. Man, I can't even remember doing this is like a new podcast. Right. It's like a new experience to me.
I don't even know what episode it is. Should we restart or just do episode 1?
Episode 1 coming to you right here. 2021.
Of a new season. Yeah.
We could do like 2021:1.
Days without incident. 2021 days without incident. So that'll always be our episode title. So it's gonna be super fucking confusing. Right now it's episode 0. Fucking get out of here. But we actually do have interesting things to talk about today. We have new points. The app finally lets you buy things a la carte. Oh wait. No, you guys told me that's
no.
It doesn't.
You have to pay extra for points. No, wait, not that.
Some crazy shit. We've got enlightened and inspired Haspil's Corner. If you guys didn't catch it in the After Hours edition, he went on about some crazy shit that you wouldn't expect from Mike Haspil to be so happy about. But if you've listened to this podcast for 6 years, that's coming. But now I'm expecting Wyatt to have a 2021 themed Would You Rather, hopefully.
I mean, it's hopeful. It's upbeat. It's lighthearted. So I guess it's the opposite of that. Would you rather have as a life coach Captain America or Optimus Prime?
That's no brainer for me. Cap. He's going to make me strong. Because that's going to be like the very first thing. He's going to be like, let's go for a run. And I'm going to be like, oh my God.
Is he going to make you strong, or is he going to say, when he's training you how to jump out of airplanes and how he doesn't like fucking use a parachute, he's going to be like, you'll be fine. And he pushes you out of an airplane, just die first fucking day?
No. He's good.
I don't think he knows how it works for us regular people. But I'm leaning toward that because I'm also like Optimus Prime, based on like all canon, is kind of fucking incompetent. Like you kind of think about like all his decision making and shit like that. Kind of an idiot.
Just go to Optimus and you're like, Optimus, I don't know what to do. Like tax season is coming up. I need to file this. And he's just like, transform and roll out.
Yeah, he's like, roll out.
Roll out.
Sometimes you just gotta confront things that are hard head on.
And then he like, then he'll like transform his arms into like different various weapons that have nothing to do with
it. Like he just starts like noticeably sweating and he's like, I have to consult the matrix of leadership, and just like turns into a truck and drives away.
Oh man. But I feel like Steve Rogers would probably, as long as go into that kind of like understanding, like he's not gonna understand some like current event situations and stuff like that. Like, I mean, he's at least he's a solid fucking leader, and like he's clearly has heard of taxes at least. Yeah.
But he might be like, wait, you have to pay taxes on income?
Oh, shit.
When did this happen?
He's like, we fought a revolutionary war over this, guys.
That was less than 5%.
I know. The fucking founding fathers be rolling over their grave. What is this?
Not.
$1.32.
Have you seen all these like tea memes? It's so patriotic.
What if like Captain America's like just obsessed with memes and thinks they're like real life? Have you seen the news today, guys? Look at this one.
Why is this guy holding twisted tea?
Yeah. And LT in the chat goes, that's the same thing Wesley Snipes thought, and the IRS caught up to him. It's like, yeah, well, Cap would know about income tax because I think that's older. That
was like the 30s, right? When they started doing federal income tax.
It's earlier than that. It came around kind of early.
Rob, what do you think? Who do you pick?
I think you're right about Optimus. I don't think.
I don't think he has any real life experience. I don't think he can give me any kind of advice.
I don't know. Like Optimus is kind of lame, to be honest.
If I was like an autonomous robotic organism from the planet Cybertron, even then he would have bad advice.
Yeah, you think he would like know a lot better about things, but like basically they had to like flee from their planet.
I mean, he did wage a war for like thousands of human years, so that might be some helpful knowledge.
He might actually have robotic PTSD now that I think about it.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like, I mean, I haven't even seen him like actually shoot his laser gun at a Decepticon and actually hit him. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think any of them ever.
He straight killed a lot of Decepticons.
If it was the movie, he killed some Decepticons. But the cartoons, no.
Oh, he kills a lot of people in the War for Cybertron on Netflix.
Good.
See, in the war,
you can actually tell it's about to happen because they almost have like a red shirt equivalent of a Transformer
that shows up randomly. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like if you see one that looks like that dude's dying.
No, you're right, but like but the War for Cybertron specifically, I felt like he was just a bad decision maker. Like it's like, God damn, dude.
Yeah.
It's like listen to that scrap guy. He knows what's up. I think maybe if my new life was like I was gonna be like a hitchhiking hobo, and maybe I get some solid words of wisdom from fucking Optimus Prime on how the road works. Like he probably knows about the unwritten rules of the road.
I live my life by the book.
Yeah. But I think for my current life, I'm gonna pick Steve Rogers.
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, I think Cap's the way to go. There like isn't anything bad about Cap. Like,
I think Cap's a little naive sometimes.
Yeah,
I respect him for it.
Yeah, you just gotta go and understand that, you know, like just gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps and it's gonna be fine. I'm like, cool, man, thanks.
And you're just like, okay, boomer.
Throw some dirt in it. Go eat some grass. Like, oh.
That's a good one. I thought you were gonna say something like, who would you rather have your life coach be? Dirty Mike from Dirty Mike and the Boys or Macho Man Randy Savage or some shit like that?
I try to ring in the new year with some positivity, man.
Positivity.
Yeah. That would have been a pickle for me, though, if you had said Macho Man Randy Savage and Dirty Mike and the Boys.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's Macho Man.
It would have been Macho Man or like Hulk or who's the other guy? Like Ric Flair.
Oh, future. We got to do a whole life coach edition.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of Hulk, Chris Hemsworth, swole. He's getting huge.
He's just...
is he for a role?
Yeah, he's playing Hulk Hogan.
And the Hulk Hogan story?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Okay.
Wait, hold on a second.
He's gotten massive.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Thor, Chris Hemsworth is playing
so much has happened in the last 7 days. Holy shit. Yo, Hulk Hogan, when he started, he was like 305 pounds, like 6'8", dude, like 6'7", like.
He's a tall dude.
He was a big motherfucker. Like, I want to see what Hemsworth. You know, when Hemsworth first came to this country, like they said he was just too handsome and too tall to make it as an actor, and like I'm glad to see him proving all those stereotypes wrong.
Shut up.
too muscular. I mean, just too muscular, dude. Like a lot of disadvantages, you know.
Yeah. A lot of disadvantages. Nobody will ever notice you.
All right, fuck it. Let's thank you, Wyatt. That was very inspired. Would you rather? I look forward to a series of Life Coach Edition. Would you rather?
Those are going to be good.
And I'm going to be Googling the fuck out of Chris Helmsworth tonight.
All right, cool.
Some massive keyword searches.
About to go incognito for this one.
Going down some rabbit holes. Nice. I guess it's news time. So it's only been 3 weeks, but quite a bit has happened.
Rob, you haven't stepped over to the Rob Baer Memorial News Desk yet.
Yes, I'm still here, guys.
I'm going to need you to get up and move to the desk.
Yes. All right, and we're back.
Thank you.
The only actual release this week from GW is already out. You can pick them up. Gorzag and Nickit is $35 US. And it's made to order. I guess they are delivering them in 120 days. So if you got the money, honey, they got your disease. Well, if you're in the orcs, at least, I guess. So
it's you got the time. Come on.
I don't know, man. People wanted it, and if you missed it, then I guess. But what's cool about it is that GW does seem to be kind of having a focus not on Space Marines. Like, we haven't seen any Space Marines in previews, and now we know that that new Necron, the hunched over one, is going to be the store anniversary model, along with another Stormcast. So that's kind of cool. So we've seen 2 big Xenos releases. We know that there is another Orc waiting in the wings as well. So kind of neat. So a lot of people were like, too many Space Marines. Well, you might be getting what you wish for, which is,
I'm going to need more Space Marines. We haven't had.
Well, there are still plenty of Space Marines to come because we haven't seen any of the additional waves, the speeder or the heavy intercessors. What else is there?
So I'm saying we need more lieutenants. You know, like I need to flesh out my collection. Nah. You shut your whore mouth. We need more Space Marine lieutenants.
Can't ever have too many lieutenants. My goal is to field a 2,000 point army of just lieutenants.
I want to be able to field a West Point graduating class of Space Marine lieutenants.
Well, apparently there's a new Deathwing lieutenant equivalent that we've discovered from the FAQ. So you can get the Strike Master. I'm sure he'll be dope. Enjoy.
Glad to hear it.
So in the previews, we saw the new Hedon Knights of Slaanesh. They got Mr. Chariot pulled by Spawn. You know, they're kind of focusing on a lot of centerpiece models, which is kind of cool because a lot of people like that sort of thing to crack out on for the hobby. Like, hey, let me get this new faction. Let me get this new like dope centerpiece model. I mean, they did it with Necrons. Well, actually twice with Necrons because you got the Star Gods, the new one too. The Void Dragon's pretty tight. So that's kind of cool to see. And there's lots of other new releases for the Hedon Knights too. They all look great. The Slangors, the Slaaneshi Gors. There's some new Mortals riding mounts. It all looks great, like for real. Like I can see where a lot of people are going to really enjoy this book and get into Sigmar in February. It looks like it's gonna come out there. So that was really cool to see. And then they also gave us some previews of what looks to be a new Titan for Titanicus. Well, it could be Titanicus or it could be a new Knight. It's really hard to tell. But I'm hoping...
I'm still counting this as your 1 minute, 32 seconds.
No, this is...
on Titanicus.
Nope. You can't tell the scale of the model, unfortunately. There's nothing to reference. It looks like it could be Titanicus, but it might not be. It looks like it could be a Nemesis class, but it could easily be an Imperator Titan. It's really hard to say at this point, but either way, it looks pretty dope. Can't wait to see what it actually is. They showed the AdMech guy again. I have some theories about that we'll cover here in a second. A new Sigmar model, which could be a Lumineth, but it also could be Deepkin. So it's kind of 50-50 what that one is. One of them is riding a Nimbus Cloud, Kenny. Looks pretty neat.
Dragon Ball Z?
You've seen it. They're definitely inspired by some Dragon Ball Z, if you know what I'm saying.
Sorry, I'm going to go Google that. I got to close some Hemsworth Hulk Hogan windows real quick.
It's just tab over. No, you can leave it open. Just tap. And then what looks to be a vampire hunter of some sort with a really dope chiseled hammer and some wooden stakes on his belt. Can't tell what it's for, but that's a cool idea. Whether it's a whole
I think
faction.
they're for hunting vampires, Rob.
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah.
Is that what they do?
That's in the name.
The thing is, you can't tell if this stuff's like Warcry. You can't tell if it's like Underworlds. You can't tell if Haspil's asleep. You don't know.
I'm not asleep. I'm taking notes on something or I'll forget it.
No, I know how. I was old once too. It's fine.
Yeah. If I don't write it down right now, I'll be like, oh, I had this baller idea.
Nope.
I like how Rob admitted he was old once, thus confirming the Dorian Gray miniature theory.
What was it? What did Bob Dylan say? He was like, I was older then. I'm much younger than that now.
Yep.
I don't know, man. You used to hang out with him. You know.
He was one of your lizardmen people.
I don't know about any of that. Still waiting in the wings. Looks to be like those Night Lords for Heresy. If you guys remember that game, they're still on the way. Of course, we got the Death Guard Codex coming out on the 16th. Well, going on pre-order.
Yep.
So it'll be actually probably the 23rd. Now, if you want to hear about some gluten-free gut check conspiracy theories, I have a few.
Nice.
We saw that we saw what looked to be an orc collectible coin come out in the internet. It's either a really good Photoshop job or it's an actual collectible coin, which means that the orcs were going to be featured. Again, they're coming out with more and more Xeno stuff, which is really neat, in their free store giveaway / spend $100, get this collectible coin deal. If that's the case, we already know that the Hedonites of Slaanesh also had a coin too. So it's possible that Death Guard were December, and then the very first was Daughters of Cain. So they're doing what looks to be Sigmar, then 40K, then Sigmar, then 40K. Well, what was supposed to happen, because we know in January that's probably not going to happen. They say the Hedonites are coming out in February. But if that was the case and that orc coin is real, air quotes, then that was probably supposed to happen in February for orcs, like the new orc codex release and whatever. We know there's at least one other figure out there. It could be a commando, could be a tank buster. It's really hard to tell. But if that's the case, unfortunately, everything's backed up now. And GW said that there's going to be 2-week delays or 2 releases a month. We still don't know if that's going to involve allocations for stores and also mail orders. We don't exactly know quite yet. I'm hoping personally that GW has enough stock for everybody and we don't have to play that shell game again. But it is possible that stores could be allocated again. We just don't know, but I guess we'll find out next week. So probably what's going to happen is either they're going to do one big release per month. And that means that the Dark Angels, the Drakari, potentially the Orcs, and potentially, perhaps, AdMech too, will get spread out over the next 4 or 5 months until we get this all figured out. Or it could be 2 releases a month. Well, we'll see what happens in February with the Hedonites, because they might just go a whole month without a 40K release. So it's really kind of hard to tell at this point. Something else that's worth mentioning too was that do we talk about the GW profit? They put out their profit loss.
I don't think we talked about it in the chat. We didn't talk about it on air.
I'm not sure that happened in the past 3 weeks. I don't know what time is anymore, but Games Workshop basically reported a 30 million pound increase in sales in the previous 6 months to, I think it was 29th November. At the same time, also increasing their profit 30 million pounds. Incredible.
Yep.
They literally went up 50% profit in a 6-month period.
Yep.
Which
should have bought stock.
And it's just incredible. So, good on them. Good on everybody that's going to get the bonuses and stuff like that. And here I think they're doing a payout in January. So that would be really cool to see. So,
yep.
What else is there? Gosh, I don't even know.
They're arm twisting me into starting another army.
Which
potentially. One? Drakari. Because I was like, I used to play Dark Eldar.
What?
I used to play
Oh,
Witch
you
Cult
did?
with Lilith Hesperax.
Mhm.
And then they're like, hey, here's a Lilith Hesperax. And we know you already play Sisters. So here's a box set with Sisters and
I
Drukhari.
thought you
And
hated
I'm like,
Eldar.
So
I hate Eldar. I don't hate Dark Eldar.
It's the same thing.
No.
yeah.
Eldar play a different game. That's why I don't like them. Is Eldar always have rules that are like in the big rule book, it'll say you can't do this unless you're Eldar. Basically, the Eldar books always go, we can totally do that.
And Drukhari are basically just like Eldar, but like more metal.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
With some little Hellraiser sprinkled in.
So that's the Pain and Piety box. I think we did a value breakdown on that. It looks to be very close to what we saw with the Gazgul box, the Prophecy of the Wolf box, value-wise, which is really nice. I forget exactly what the... It also looks like it's a kind of combat patrol-y too, because you get one HQ and then two... I'm trying to pull up the article here.
And that's what I was digging about it, because I was like, if you just buy like one or two raiders, you can play an incursion game easy without having to build out like a whole army.
Well, it seems a little light on the sister side, because you're basically getting a Retributor squad. You're getting a Palatine, which I guess she's supposed to go toe to toe with Lilith. We'll see. An Immolator, which is kind of cool. That kit's really nice at $75 retail. And then on the Dark Eldar side, you're getting 10 Witches, 5 of the Scourges, of Venom again. Venom we've seen repackaged a bunch already, and Lilith herself. So yeah, you can just add a few things to that, your base troops, and
and you're good to go.
I keep forgetting I also have a Drukhari army, so I just haven't played it in like over a year.
Yeah, I used to really like them, and what turned me off of them was when we went to kill points in 5th, because my army had like 10 raiders and 3 of the Ravagers or whatever, the heavy things, and I just gave away 21 kill points whenever I would play the game. So it was just like auto lose.
Should break them out. I'd like to see how the Prophets of Flesh do in 9th edition, because I haven't seen anybody playing them.
I imagine all that stuff's going to get updated.
Prophets of Flesh are my primary example of how metal the Eldar can be. Fucking
straight Cenobites.
I fucking love those models.
But the one thing to be aware of too, and we kind of saw it with the Death Guard preview today, was that they seem to be kind of retconning. Well, not really retconning, but kind of overwriting the Psychic Awakening content, which isn't to be 100% unexpected. But like the play company that they previewed today does completely something different than what it did in the.
Which one did they preview today?
The Poxwalker one. I forget. It was the one I think the Poxwalkers used to deep strike, but now they reroll their hits, which probably might be better. I don't know.
Stratagem, and there's a Warlord trait and a relic as well, which would be really cool if it wasn't once per game.
True,
because it's like you basically, if the Warlord is within a certain distance of a objective marker, you basically give that objective marker all of the active contagions that your army has going right now, which is like really nasty, but you can only do it once a game.
Do we know how many contagions there are? Because so far we only thought there was the one.
So
I think we got the chart.
It looks like that contagions is like a catch-all term for a lot of different things, which could be like a unit ability or a warlord trait or some other things, because the warlord trait is like you get this, and then in the title there's like brackets like contagion. So you can have there's going to be multiple types of contagions beyond the army-wide -1 toughness bubble that goes out.
Yeah, so it's a keyword, a new keyword. That's cool. I mean, I like that. And once per game, kind of, is it like you have to be super close to the objective to trigger, or is it like?
I can pull it. I think it's like 3 to 6 inches somewhere in there. You got to be kind of on top of it. So it's going to be like you can use it offensively for sure. It's just not going to be that great, and you can also use it defensively, which is probably what they're intending to do. I have it now. Shamble Rot. So the Warlord has the following ability: Shamble Rot (parentheses Contagion). While an enemy unit, excluding vehicles, is within contagion range of this unit, at the start of your opponent's movement phase, roll a d6, subtracting 1. If that enemy is a character, on a 4, they get 1 mortal wound. On a 6, they get d3. And then the relic is infected remains once per battle. At the end of your movement phase, you can select one objective within 3 inches. While the bear is on the battlefield, that objective marker has the Contagions of Nurgle ability and is considered to have all the same contagion abilities that the bearer has. So it also has Shamble Rot.
I see.
If they have that Warlord tree. And then
so Shamble Rot Shamble Rot's pretty cool. That's like Mortarion's old mortal wound thing.
Right. And as we saw when they released his new data sheet, Mortarion can pick any of these Plague Company Warlord traits at the start of the game. And Shamble Rot is one of them. So I'm assuming the theme here is that all of these Plague Company Warlord traits are going to be some type of contagion.
Yeah.
And then they showed again the table. So contagion range is defined as the increasing number of inches aura by battle round. So 1, 3, 6, and 9.
Cool. I mean, I'm not that butthurt about it. Like, it could be better, but
yeah,
I'm down with a mortal wound bubble, and once per game, make an objective. Do have a mortal wound bubble and a -1 toughness bubble. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it is cool. It's thematic. I like what I'm seeing so far. I just wish it wasn't once per game.
Well, there's still plenty to be revealed.
In my mind, if it was something like if he's on the objective, it has that. I'd like that. That'd be really cool. But it's probably going to be pretty strong with 2 stacks.
Or if he can pick it, if it wasn't tied to the range, like if he can just say like any objective on the battlefield once per game,
right?
So that way there'd be like a buff and a restriction. But whatever. Anyway, thank you for the update. I literally know nothing. Rob, continue, please.
Well, I think that was majority of it for the most part.
Yeah, they showed some old world stuff.
They did. Yeah, they did kind of show the new map for the old world. And Bretonnia was in there. There was some high elf stuff. There was definitely some wood elves. So that would be cool to see where they go with it. Because, Empire up at the top. Not 100% revealed, but we know it's there. So I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are waiting for it. And if it's open system, it just kind of depends. Like if they put the rules out and you can kind of use, it's more about the rule set, not necessarily miniatures, which I don't see them doing. But if they do, and they just it's just about the rule set, you can play with the existing Sigmar stuff, or if you have the older stuff, or perhaps they're just going to re-release Empire and all that, and make a third line. Because they seem to hint, well, they actually came out and said, it's basically fantasy. It's basically Horus Heresies, their version of Horus Heresy.
Oh, okay.
For Forge World's Horus Heresy system, like that is everything that happened before. This is supposedly everything that happened before Age of Sigmar. And I'm like, okay, I like what you're doing there, but you guys kind of did that yourself. So
you think it's like going to be a Forge World thing?
Well,
like
lest
almost.
he forgets,
they didn't say that.
It wasn't on a whim that GW destroyed the old world. It was because at the time, fantasy was like hemorrhaging money, and nobody liked it.
Yeah.
Well, the people that had all those like $300 block.
Oh, the people invested in the game liked it. You don't say. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, they loved it, but.
When we used
losing money hand over fist because at the time fantasy was a dying property.
No, we would go to a tournament. There'd be like 6 people, like a national tournament. It'd be like 6 people playing fantasy in the back, and there'd be 100 of us playing 40K.
Yeah.
Until iOS, You know?
There was, well, I can't cop to that, but there was definitely a very dedicated following for fantasy, but it had systemic problems that weren't conducive to Games Workshop's focus on quarterly profits.
And whatever you saw at a tournament, remember, it was only like a small piece of what was really happening. And so when we would go to these events and there'd be like a handful of people playing fantasy and 100 people playing 40K, you can kind of like percentage that out to the market, and you're like, this is not good.
I think it's safe to say that there wasn't a whole lot of fresh money flowing in on the fantasy side of things.
Well, people who had their armies had their armies.
Yes.
They weren't buying new stuff. And so I'm curious if they're going to do like, remember Warhammer Ancients? How they just had like the
kind of
rule
what
set.
I was thinking. Yeah. They would just put out the rule set because they couldn't IP or copyright, any of that stuff.
A Roman centurion.
But they could make dope rules for it. And a lot of the folks that worked on that actually went over to Warlord and work, with Warlord and Mantic. I think mostly Warlord, if I recall. But so in that regard, they got some really good, solid rules. So I think they're definitely going to do something, and whether it's, hey, we're going to put out this new rule set, or, hey, we're going to put out this new rule set and miniatures, because it seems like they're very much into the development of how it looked and how it felt in the IP, because at the end of the day, their IP is their greatest asset. I think that's very important that they get the look and the feel right. Just like we were kind of talking about the pregame about, properties doing the stories and everything correctly, and not changing it because it's what they like.
Yes.
And what they believe in. So, so far it seems like they're doing fantasy, holding true to the fantasy feel and how it was, just by putting out the map, and the map is traditional to what we saw in the old world.
And I'm wondering if that's also tied into Total War, because Total War, Warhammer is very popular and does really, really well. And that's all the old world. So
yeah, you can't really reinvent it, but you can reskin it, I guess you could say.
Yeah, tweak it so that it's well, so I'm excited for it, so it's cool.
It'd be nice to see square bases again.
Yeah, did we talk about something like this not too long ago, about like how Horus Heresy was a really cool idea that they mismanaged? So like, hopefully they've learned from that, and like this will be a really cool release.
I think Heresy is a whole nother animal. Like it was one person's vision who unfortunately is no longer with us, and then it was two people took up the reins. It was some very big shoes to fill, and now one of them has left, and it's basically 2 editions behind where we're at in 40K, and it's just its own thing. It's just its own thing, and it's if you're going to get into it, you're going to get into it, and you're going to be fanatical about it, and it's going to be your thing, and that's dope. But it's not my cup of tea.
Well, it's a niche game. It is like a specialist game now. I would say.
I think I definitely agree. I think it'll be really cool because I do know people that are psyched for it, and I'd like to see it do well because I like the lore of the old world. I mean, the game itself was not my cup of tea. So I'm just hoping they do the right thing for, like, I hope they set it up for success. That makes sense, because in many ways, Horus Heresy was not set up for success, and it has sort of like limped along and suffered ever since its initial like hype days, like in the first year. And so if this is a specialist game, like that worries me a little bit, because Forge World specialty games have not done very well in the past.
It seems like GW has a problem, like, because if a game is really just a bunch of numbers with a skin over it, as long as the numbers work, it seems like you can kind of just change the skin until you find the one that sticks. And so, like, Heresy had a dope skin. Yeah. But, like, as Rob said, they're like 2 editions behind the rules. Blood Bowl also had I use Blood Bowl as my other side of that coin. Blood Bowl has one of the sickest, tightest numbers and rules. And they keep not changing the skin at all. Like, I feel like Blood Bowl could expand to so many ideas within the 40K properties.
I 100% agree.
And if they would just get on with like messing with the skin a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if we had to go like double Dutch Rudder a Bohemian Gentleman to get a 40K Blood Bowl game, I'd do it with you.
And it's not even hard to like sit there and brainstorm like what the narrative explanation for the game would be. Just like Shadespearsy or Underworlds. Great airtight system. Start now that you have it and it works and it's fucking dope. Throw some more skins on it. So like, Heresy's kind of the backwards, Fantasy's the backwards.
They should make old world plastic releases too. I think if they make it Forge World resin releases, it's going to fail the same way.
Oh, it's going to,
The barrier of entry,
plastic.
Yeah, the barrier of entry was way too high for Horus Heresy. Like this, I think part of that is the scope of the way they designed the rule set, because it's meant to be like basically Apocalypse in every game. And so it's like, yeah, you can play Heresy, but it's not going to be fun unless you have like over 100 Space Marine models that are all like resin from Forge World with all these weapon upgrade kits and everything. So it's like, what did you expect, guys?
Well, they tried to mollify that by putting out the 2 box sets, but I don't know how well they did. There was like Betrayal at Calf, and then
Oh, well, they sold the fuck out of those.
Prospero burns.
Yeah, burning. I still have my Burning of Prospero.
I have filled dumpsters with the board game parts of those 2 games. Literally. So good segue to Haspil's Corner. Rob had mentioned something earlier about not changing something because you like it.
Yes. So the big news that Kenny was alluding to is, you guys know that I was a massive Star Wars fan and that I did not care for the new Star Wars, quote unquote.
For like 6 fucking years on this podcast. Yeah.
So I got pulled back in by a lot of different people telling me, you got to watch The Mandalorian. You got to watch The Mandalorian. And, so I finally broke in and got Disney Plus and watched The Mandalorian. And I think it took me maybe 3 days to watch the whole thing. And I initially missed about 5 episodes because my brother called me and said, "Hey, this is the season finale of The Mandalorian and you got to watch it now before it gets spoiled." So I watched it and drove me to tears. I was like, wow, this is Star Wars again. I'm back in. And then I went back. And it was great having seen the end, watching the 5 episodes that led up to that and seeing how they crafted the story and how they actually cared about story. And there were not, there's still some plot holes and stuff, but it's not as sloppy as the other stuff was. And the plot holes that I'm calling out are nitpicks. They're not like, well, how's Palpatine back? This doesn't make any sense, right? They were nitpicks. And so I'm not even going to bring them up because I'm just like, that's a nitpick, whatever. You can just blow right past it. And my favorite episode is actually not the season finale. It was the one with Ahsoka, because it was a love letter to Akira Kurosawa. And all these like samurai films. It was actually really intense and very, very good. Lots of knowledge gets dropped in that episode. The way they just returned different things, it felt like Star Wars again, instead of just we're just going to tell. It's kind of funny what Kenny just said, because like I feel like the other ones were, we're just going to tell this story and then slap a skin on it. And that skin happens to be Star Wars, but it's not. It's
And the skin will always fail you if the base content is not airtight.
Because, and as an example, I always bring up something like JJ Star Trek in 2009 was actually A New Hope with Star Trek skin on it. It wasn't Star Trek. There was telescoping sword. There was a planet killer. I can draw a million parallels, but anyway, that's.
Wait, you mean Sulu's fencing sword?
Yeah.
From that one episode?
That one episode, because
remember when he goes crazy and fences people?
Yeah. Saw a still of him fencing. So he needs a fencing sword that telescopes. So, what we were talking about in the pregame was that I think where folks went wrong is that there's an episode. I apologize for this. You're going to have to hunt. I think it is episode 2 of Star Wars Galleries, but there is a show on Disney Plus called Gallery, and it is a behind the scenes, like making of, and it's focusing on the Mandalorian right now. But I suspect that when we get like Falcon and Winter Soldier or WandaVision, it'll focus on those different shows. It happens to be about the Mandalorian right now. there is an episode on there where at the end, Dave Filoni is sitting there and he's got all the directors, you know, Jon Favreau's there, Bryce Howard's there, what's his name? YTD. I can't.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, I was gonna mess up his name, but they're all there. Anybody who directed an episode of The Mandalorian is all there. And Dave Filoni they're all having a roundtable discussion, and then Dave Filoni he breaks into this 10-minute kind of talk where he talks about what the Duel of the Fates meant and why Qui-Gon Jinn, the Duel of the Fates, is actually not about Qui-Gon and Darth Maul. It's about who is going to rule Anakin's fate, and that Qui-Gon needs to be the father figure that Anakin didn't have, and that's actually what's going on. And that Darth Maul wins, and so therefore Anakin falls to the dark side. And he goes on about this and ties it through the entire first 6 movies. And it's brilliant. And you can tell that this is somebody who actually gets the story and actually cares about the story and has put a lot of thought into this. And it's so remarkably, it's a polar opposite, frankly, to people like Brian Johnson, who walk out and say, I hope this movie pisses off half the fans. And so it's just like, okay, what are you doing? You're supposed to be putting out a 4-quadrant tentpole film, and you say that you want half the audience to not like this. And so I was just thinking about it and just going, first of all, they can't get away with that anymore because all the studios are hemorrhaging money. You can't get away with the sundered fandom anymore. Your fans have to be on the same page, and you have to give, amazingly, who would have thought this? This is a grand new concept. You have to give the customers what they want so that they'll give you their money. And I know that that's like a crazy concept to think about, but they're really going to have to do that going on, because the day of the $200 million blockbuster film that's going to rake you in $1.5 billion, that's gone. That's not coming back, not for a while, even if the theaters survive. So they have to tie into stuff. And it's like, I have not bought, and we were making fun of me in the pre-show about this. I've not bought any props. I'm a replica movie prop collector. I have not bought any props or collectibles or anything for Star Wars in probably a decade. I just spent a lot of money on Hasbro Pulse buying animatronic Baby Yodas and
you gotta make up those years.
Yeah, and the Mando disintegrator rifle. And it's like, why? Well, because I like physical objects that tie into a story I like, so I can participate in that story on a different level. We all like that. That's why we play 40K. That's why we collect stuff you can't play with in 40K. That's why I'm wearing a 40K t-shirt. It's all about that, right? But what they've been doing in the last, I would say the last 10 years, is hiring people that may be good creators for something, but they have no passion for the property that they are creating for. So you get the infamous J.J. Abrams statement of, I didn't really like X, so I changed it into something I wanted to like. Well, that's great for you, JJ, but you just angered everybody else.
Dude, JJ's listening. You can't name drop him like that.
Like I've said before, is like, I talk about JJ all the time. How much does JJ talk about me? He doesn't, because he's busy making Star Wars and Star Trek.
But he has an intern whose entire
busy
job
out there setting up this giant conspiracy.
Yeah, he has an intern whose entire job is listen to this podcast and figure out what he needs to do to fuck you.
So anyway, if you're a Star Wars fan at all, and The Mandalorian has not been spoiled for you, which if you manage to stay ignorant of this, then kudos to you, because that's got to be a Herculean feat. Go check it out, because it's real Star Wars. It united the fandom. And the first season of Mando, I watched it. I gave it it's very formulaic, but it's fun. And I thought, well, it's formulaic because Filoni and Favreau have to be trauma surgeons on this, and they have to stop the bleeding. That's the first thing you have to do. And the fandom was bleeding badly. And then season 2, it's like they found their stride. They put in, there's still a lot of fan service, more than I would like, but man, It's fantastic. It's fun again. It's good again. It's not lectury. It's not preachy. They put things in there. And there's another thing I always say is that if you're going to, you can't lecture the audience. If the audience wants to get lectured or if they want to hear a sermon, they'll go to church. They won't go to Star Wars.
Right.
So you got to if you own pets, you got to put the pill in the cheese or your pet's not going to eat it. And Filoni and Favreau know how to do that. But anyway, let's get back to 40K because there's like important FAQ stuff that we could talk about. But anyway, that's my rant. Still
a monumental occasion here on the podcast for Haspil's Corner. Like I said, 6 years. 6 years we've been talking about JJ.
Yeah,
I've seen Haspil have no less than 3 close total aneurysms on getting so angry. So this is kind of a big deal. Big fucking deal.
Return of the King.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Throw that Lord of the Rings. Sorry, I mean throw a Star Trek reference in there. Yeah, good one.
Yeah, of course. Got it in one.
Almost broke character. Because the only thing Mike Haspil has more of in his fucking beat slap and Star Wars shit is fucking Lord of the Rings shit. So
yeah, that is very true.
It's like the only thing you have that spilled out of the secret room is Lord of the Rings stuff.
Lord of the Rings and aliens.
Oh, and aliens, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, there's face huggers all over the basement.
Yeah, more than one. It's crazy.
I was like, talk to you about your basement. You should put a light down there.
You should probably get a Han Solo carbonate and maybe even like an arcade system. That'd be kind of sick.
Yeah, that'd be
I mean, we've already determined his next project is to restore a BattleTech pod.
Yeah.
Put it in there. So I put that idea in his head, knowing it would
it would fester. And immediately I'm like, well, that's bonkers. I'm not going to do that. But how much are they? I could probably restore one of these BattleTech pods.
I mean, that's how you got him to get a new cables in Disney Plus. I mean, you just had to say it a couple of times, and
yeah,
he was like,
I don't think it's his idea.
That's right.
That's how it works.
Inception.
Yeah, I'm and then I pulled Mike back from the dark side. I pulled him back.
You also got him to watch. What's the other thing you got him to watch?
Oh, I got him to watch a bunch of the only show that you didn't like on my recommendation was Lovecraft Country, and it's not even because it was a bad show.
I liked it. It just wasn't what I was expecting. If they had called it something different, I'd still be.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Is like it wasn't like tied to Lovecraft the way you thought it would be. Right. So it was like. But it was a good show.
I liken it more to like Twilight Zone and Tales of the Crypt than like H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah. I do like the idea of Mike Haspil prop inception because now he's going to look at his secret beat slab and he's going to be like, now he's going to see like this one little spot that's kind of empty in the other spots and it's just all he's going to be is like, fuck, there could be a pod.
You're going to measure it and you're like, I bet I could fit a pod there.
Oh my God. I can't even look at this spot in my fucking corner anymore without a...
Yeah. And I'll put it on wheels so I can like move it around.
And then one day he's gonna see a pod for like $4,000 and be like, it's basically.
He's gonna like cut out the bottom so he can like do the Flintstones and just go around his house in the pod.
So, I mean, you gotta get it down there.
I mean, obviously you're gonna take a wall out. Obviously, I mean, it's like at this point,
just crane it in.
Gotta spend money to make money.
I remember what it was. You didn't like Westworld. That was the show.
No, I did not like Westworld. Could not make it through it. But. What does that have in common? Bad reboot.
Ugh. I don't think it was that bad.
You like the first one more? You like the original more?
Huh? Absolutely.
Oh my
the
God.
original was the reason that Michael Crichton wouldn't work in film for like 20 years.
Yeah. and I like the remake of Westworld really a lot, which was Jurassic Park.
Nice.
Hey, don't hear me out here. Cowboys become dinosaurs. Same movie.
Sold. Got it.
Sold.
$1 billion.
It's going to make $1 billion.
They're not robots, Mike. So
$1 billion fucking dollars, dude. All right. Let's jump into the meat potatoes. We have new points dropped in on what's new in the FAQ. That's the name of the segment that we've always used.
Yeah.
6 years of running. Bunch of shit happened. Over the 6 months we took a break. And Rob's got some notes on that, but it's kind of crazy. Like 52 pages, Rob.
52 pages of points may or may not have changed. That's a lot to dig through.
It's a treasure hunt. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a treasure hunt.
We're all like inside. We need little puzzles.
It's like when you go.
No.
It's like when you go to Costco and they go, "There's some really great deals here." Well, which ones? Well, walk around the store and find out.
Yeah, just walk around the store.
Figure it out, bucko.
So at least they put it in there, because in the article it was a little ambiguous whether it was going to be locked behind the paywall of the app and then they said something about they were going to put it in print in the White Dwarf.
Which might still be coming because, it might still be in the White Dwarf.
But to actually have it, to be able to,
both of those are paywalls. Like both of those you would have to pay in exchange for points, which Rob has historically been on the record is, and I think very rightfully so, saying like, if I already bought the points, why did you buy them again? Chapter Approved is an example of that. White Dwarf is an example of that.
I don't agree with it. I feel like, we pay for it once, it's ours. Like you give us the FAQs for free, give us the point changes for free.
And if you got to hot fix it, I shouldn't pay for that.
No. Like it's a value proposition. It's a value to your product. And the only value to Games Workshop products is the fear of missing out these days. And it doesn't set you up well for the future, unfortunately. But they're making billions of dollars and I'm not. So maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know.
Fucking idiot.
You got to put out FAQs, Rob.
Oh, is that it? Okay. So, I feel like companies that do the sort of thing that build the value into their products do better in the long run. I think this was a great time for them to put out these FAQs because interest has been a bit waning without the constant content flow of new release and new release content. It's been, it's been a little on the slow news side of things, but them putting out now, I think was a good call on their part, and then we'll slide into Death Guard content.
It's almost like they kind of read the room a little bit finally. You know what I mean? Like it's like, guys,
indeed,
guys. Like
they're seeing the same trends we are. Literally, Warhammer community is putting out lore posts. Like that's a sign of not a lot going on.
Yeah,
isn't imitation the highest form of flattery, Rob?
I've heard that.
I mean, we're just a couple idiots on the internet who don't make $38 million in profit this year.
That you know of.
I can say that with
profit in my pants.
I can say that.
Have you seen my OnlyFans page, dog?
I have. I'm actually subscribed to it because it's like we will DM you pictures of my crotch unless you give us $5. So I'm at your highest level.
You have to give me $5.
It's a very aggressive marketing.
Yeah, it's highest level. Also, shout out. Like I love your highest level being $69.99. Like obviously, like I support you at that level. It's Haspil's too, actually. Like, but I mean, it's like we're just a couple of idiots. But it's like it's good to see like they read the fucking room. Like this is perfect timing. You know what I mean? Like my biggest fear was it was gonna be app based again, or they already gave us a fucking chapter approved this year, like, and they haven't been reading the room, and it's like 52 pages of fucking free, unlabeled, unfortunately. So I gotta keep going back to the page over and over again. But I mean, I can't fault them for that. But that's fucking awesome. I mean, like earlier today on the After Hours segment we did, it's making discoveries, man. Like. It's fucking, something that we didn't like, but like, I just found out a few minutes ago that like Plague Marines went up less than 25%, Death Shroud went up less than 25%. And like the whole time I've been sitting with this list that I stopped painting, like waiting to give them money for a codex. Then they delayed the codex just to find out like, but you can see the rules now. And I'm like, this is a feeling I'm not fucking used to with GW.
Yeah.
I was really surprised when I was reading their article that was, hyping, hey, all these new FAQs are out and everything. And they're like, oh, here, the points are going to be out.
Yeah.
And I was adult and I didn't look at the Munitorium thing. So I saw the power level stuff.
Now, some of the FAQs themselves do have the points changes at the bottom of the FAQ, but they're few and far between. I don't know if they're going to go back and update them or not. So the Marine one obviously does because yay, Marines, and Necron does too.
They all went up in points though for the Marines, all increased in points, which I thought was interesting. And then the Necrons, I got super excited because the Reanimator came down 30 points, and I was just like, yummy. My opponents will not like that.
The Nightbringer went up a bit, though.
Yeah, a tad.
To be expected, I suppose. Yeah. He's kind of baller, but
think about it in the context of like, there's a book we were all about to buy. The GW delayed it probably because they started reading the room and supply chain, and then they didn't make us wait to buy the book to give us like some of these Death Guard point updates. Like they didn't give us the rules yet, but like half of us already kind of know we've been in a holding position. Like we already know we're gonna fucking play. You know, like, tell me the fucking points now so I can even see if it's possible. You know, like, it's fucking crazy, man.
But there's, there'll be some hidden gems in there, too, because some of the war gear may or may not be included in those points.
Seems like GW is going back in time to how it used to be a little bit in some situations, not all, where when they said, like, this is a unit, these are the only guns it fucking gets, here's the total points. That's how it used to be. And then, like, kind of 8th edition, they started confusing us when they're like, here's a Rhino. Its only option is this one Storm Bolter. The Rhino is X points. You're like, cool, that's how many points a Rhino is. Oh, wait, stupid. I also got to flip to the back of the fucking book and see the 2 points of the fucking Bolter. Get the fuck out of here.
And by the way, your list is invalid now. You don't win the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, and I think a lot of that probably has to do with the digital, porting it over to the digital. You can only, keep track of so much that you really need to keep track of. And I don't know, but I
have to reevaluate some of that stuff because I was like in an internet argument with folks earlier about the Grand Master in a Nemesis Dread Knight getting a free heavy incinerator. And it seems like I might have been wrong because I was just like, well, no, this is just a typo. It's just GW not putting out the rules correctly and everything. And then upon talking with you guys, I'm like, oh, maybe they do get a free.
So man, remember in the old days, they'd be like,
it's a built into the cost.
This is how much a Razorback costs. It comes with a heavy bolter. But if you want to upgrade a heavy bolter, this is what it fucking came with. That they're going back to more of that. Like that's thank God, guys, because like it felt petulant. Like back, like in 8th edition when they were like, we're gonna go power level, and we're all like, okay. And then it's like everything has power level on it, but the last page of the book are the points. Like, okay. Sure. Yeah.
And that didn't, that was just bad because the upgrades, like, it didn't take those into account.
They're like, power levels totally balanced. Okay. Okay. I mean, back to like our dear friend Tim Baptist back in the day doing that hilarious impersonation of a GW guy not realizing you're going to have 3 Falcons.
Yeah.
Remember?
He was actually making fun of Phil Kelly because we talked to him and I think it was the Vegas GT. And we were talking about taking 3 Falcons that were like totally. That was also when it was a Super Falcon, when it was utterly
1 in 81 strength.
A las cannon had less than 1% chance that it hurt it.
Yeah.
And I think I can't remember now if it was Tim's impression or if Phil actually said, like, but why would you take 3 Falcons? That's madness. And it was just like because. America,
we
can take 3 Falcons.
Have you walked around and looked at all the tables here?
He's like, madness. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he was like, it's madness. Like, why would you do that? And it's like, because I have 3 Falcons. And you didn't say I couldn't take 3 Falcons?
Yeah, you straight up gave me permission in a permissive rule set to take 3, then made them the best fucking thing in the world.
Literally.
I'm not following, sir.
It was bad news bears, but we're past that now.
We are, man.
I think, I think
that was more than 15 years ago. FYI.
Oh yeah, for sure. So there were some other changes too that I think are definitely worth talking about. Wyatt probably has them. The changes to go in.
So the big changes we want to go into, because like obviously 52 pages is a lot to dissect, especially without fucking pins in there and shit like that. Okay. We'll go into it later, based on Scoured Internet, spiky bit coverage and stuff like that. But Wyatt's got some other really important game mechanic changes.
So the first of those is when you're setting up for a game, there's order of operations before you start the game, one of which is determining who goes first or who goes second. So until today, the way that it worked is you have a dice roll and whoever wins that gets to choose whether or not they want to go first or go second. Now, if you win that dice roll, you must go first. You have the first turn. So that's
a big change.
Be a big change because there was sometimes a lot of strategy and kind of looking at your opponent, looking at the table, looking at the mission, your secondaries, and being like, I'm going to go second.
Well, it changes it because like if it's going to be a fucking random roll, make it a fucking random roll. When one guy gets to pick based on all this information to go first or second, it's like a random roll that is like fake as fuck. That this guy has 100% agency how the beginning of the game starts. All you have to do is remove that one element, and it actually is a random roll.
Yeah, and it changes deployment in a huge way. In a huge way, because if you're like, well, if I win this roll, I can choose to go first or second. You might be more prone to risk things.
Yeah.
Because you'd be like, but if you're like, I don't know, there's no choice involved anymore. You're going to have to deploy a little bit more cagey.
I agree. The other big change to like the core way the game is played is how primary objective scoring works. So, the way that this is going to work is if you were the player who was going second, if you were the bottom of the turn, in the 5th battle round, instead of scoring your primary objective points at the start of your command phase, you're actually going to be able to score those at the end of your turn. And one of the things that we talked about in the pre-show was that like many times in 40K, it can be a situation where the 5th turn is sort of like a formality. You don't actually have to play it out because if somebody's going second and they are down and they can't outscore you because of the way that scoring of primary works, then you basically just call the game. Whereas now, if you're like, ooh, I'm down on like one set of primary, so I got to capture one objective. And then if I do like these 2 other things for my secondaries, I might be able to pull out a win with a couple of points, because then you have the option of like doing something with your turn that could help you actually come back and win the game. Whereas like, well, I'm down by 10. I'm not going to hold these objectives at the start of my turn, so I'm going to lose, and we'll just shake hands right now. There's no reason wasting our time, right? So it actually incentivizes.
Could you speak a little bit more to that incentivization? So is it like instead of like nothing happens on the first turn and then the battle round starts, it's like the bottom of every turn it just occurs?
No. Just the 5th battle round.
Just the 5th. So I love that because it's not a broad stroke fix, right? Like it's a very laser pointer, like, boom, this is the problem people are coming up with. We say it's basically it's a 4-turn game. Mm-hmm. Now it's actually.
Yeah, if you were going second, it was a 4-turn game before that.
Right. And the issue is that because things are scored at the start of the turn, if you go second, there's no way to like take away the advantage your opponent has in a single turn and start scoring yourself. So you're always like one step behind. And if they have a points lead, then even if you were like, okay, I'm down by 10, I'm going to clear the guys off 2 objectives and take them myself. It doesn't matter because you don't get any points for it because the game is over. Whereas now it's like, okay, if I take those 2 objectives in my turn and I do one more thing with the secondary, I actually win by 3. So it's not like a gimme, you have to work for it, but it is something you can work for rather than it be like shake hands at the end of his turn on turn 4, right?
Yep.
Fuck yeah. Good job. That's a classy FAQs. Every now and then GW does a really classy one.
Yeah. No, I think they did it. I think they did it right. Pretty happy with this.
There's a handful of other like rare rules interactions that they clarified and things like that. One probably there was one contentious one where it's like if something is like an aircraft and its wing or nose
it can hang off.
Butt. Yeah. So before what was it, like the Ares or something?
I mean the Ares, the any of the Custody stuff. Shoot, the Thunderhawk.
Well, you can't play a Thunderhawk in a match play game.
Sure you can. It's only 700 points. 800 points. It's 800 points.
I thought it was really expensive.
No, it's 800. The Stormbird's 1,000. You could play a Stormbird in a match play game and put your whole army in it.
Okay. So you can't play it, but nobody's going to bring a Thunderhawk. But now
you know that to be false. You know that David is going to bring one.
When he does it, I'll be really excited if he does. I don't think he's going to do it. But if he does, I will commend him for it. But the point I'm trying to make is you can now play those models. If it's an aircraft and the base is in the deployment zone, it can overhang. It's fine. You can play your Ares gunships and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
That one was for David. That was the only reason he wasn't going to play it.
Well, now we can.
He's back in it. He's got no excuses.
Do it.
0.
Different things about transports, like, this shouldn't have been a question, but yeah, like you can't affect units in transports. That kind of thing. And then they talk about some of the secondary changes. So there's obviously a lot of vehicle fund police out in the game right now, and they want to incentivize bringing vehicles. We've talked about this many times on the podcast. So Bring It Down is now worth less points, so it incentivizes people bringing those monsters and those vehicles. Abhor the Witch is now less points because it was unfairly scoring against things like Grey Knights, Thousand Suns, that sort of thing. And While We Stand, We Fight had an important change to it because before it was your 3 most expensive models had to survive the game, right? And now it is units. And so it's not just a one-word change because they have to clarify, because there's units that can do things like Combat Squad for Space Marines and like Split Squad for other factions. So it clarifies that, but basically it can be your 3 most expensive units on the table. So it can be a model or it can be a unit with multiple models.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it a little bit easier for some people. It could be exploited, but we'll have to wait to see.
Yeah, I know off the top of my head, there's like 3 really strong factions in the middle that are readily able to exploit that already. So that's why I'm not a huge fan of that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, that's all we can do. Play it out, see what's up. I mean, I have no problems with some like gimme secondaries. Like,
damn. It's all right. I mean, like there's already stuff out there. I can't really get into it too much because there's things like Oaths of Moment that exist. So it's not a big, like, I personally don't like it, but I'll play it the way they tell me to play it. That's what you got to do.
Tell me the rules. Fucking play them.
On the Space Marine side of things, we've been waiting for some FAQs from them. The ATV and Apothecary interaction was FAQ'd. Basically, they just said excluding ATVs, which is what we said they should do.
Makes sense.
Eradicators got a 5-point bump per model. So basically, that's like free in GW points, pretty much unaffected. And then the other thing was that there was this weird, in my opinion, pointless debate on whether or not things that said as if it were X doctrine and that rule interaction activating a Space Marine chapter is super doctrine, because pretty much everybody was in agreement that it was like, yeah, it says as if it was and it activates. And then there was a contingent of people that were like trying to rules lawyer the fuck out of it. So they basically were like, yeah, if it says as if it were the tactical doctrine, then super doctrine, it's tactical, it's active. So
almost as if it was active.
Yeah. Should never have been a debate, but it was, and they fixed it. So cool. Yeah, so that's like the major stuff.
There it is.
Well,
Until the next time.
That's a fucking
summer.
That's exciting.
Yep. That being said, there's lots of micro changes. Check your faction pages.
It's too many changes to go into, so everyone who's like personally invested in a certain faction, go there, just devour it, and then let us know online. We only give a shit about like Death Guard and shit, and like I guess Rob cares about Titanicus and Haspil lieutenants, and Haspil likes Necrons, so that's all we know.
I love Necrons now. Necrons are amazing. Which, by the way, anybody who does like Necrons, I finally finished Indomitus. The book by, I think it's Gab Thorpe, and he does Necrons so great in that book. Like, they literally don't care about things. Like, they just care about infighting with other Necrons. That's all they care about. And then there's just like, oh yeah, what's going on with the attack on the planet? Well, these humans have put up a huge resistance and they've wiped out like an entire legion of warriors. Oh, that's going to cause a 5-minute delay. That's unacceptable. Like, you need to go fix that. They literally just don't care. They're terrifying. It's really great.
Fucking love it. Well, I think we did the first show of the 2021, Rob.
Haspil, take us out of here.
But in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. Even the darkness must pass. A new day will come, and when the sun shines, it will shine out the clearer.